Dear students, today we are going to see new chapter 6, part 1, evolution. Chapter 6, part 1, evolution. So this is a new chapter we are going to see. Okay, what do you mean by evolutions? What do you mean by evolution? Evolution, the term is used to describe heritable changes in one or more characteristics of a populations of a species from one generation to another generation. That is we call as a evolution. Here the picture what you are seeing is the one how human being evolutions existed from ancient time to till modern time. Here each has his own trees of ancestors, but at the top of all sites probably arboreal. Arboreal means organism which live, and trees we call as arboreal. Here, so this is what they define for evolutions. You can mark it out. The present state of mankind on earth is the outcome of three kinds of evolution. That is chemical evolutions, organic evolutions, and organic and social or cultural evolutions. So these are the three outcomes of different kinds of evolutions. Radiometric dating of meteorites. Radiometric dating of meteorites yields an estimated age for the solar system and for Earth as around 4.5 to 4.6 billion years. So they estimated the solar system age, solar system as well as the age Earth. Their age is the one nearly 4.52 or 4.6 billion years it has existed. The newborn Earth remained inhospitable for at least few hundred million years. So the age of solar system Earth is the one 4.5 to 4 billion years. So from the beginning of the Earth formed, the past few hundred million years, there was no organisms were formed in the Earth. So what happens during that time? What happened those days? Why the newborn Earth remained inhospitable? Remained inhospitable means there was no organisms at all in this Earth from the beginning of the Earth for at least few hundred million years. First, it was too hot. How the Earth was formed? They're saying now the Earth was too hot. This is because the collisions of the planet smile that collides to form Earth release much heat to melt an entire planet. So there was a small planet was there due to due to hitting of each that small planet smile. Because of heating of this one, they formed one entire planet. During this process, the heat have been released. So that heat only was full of the earth. Eventually, outer surface of the earth cooled and solidified to form a crust. So outer surface of the earth it was so cool and they solidified to form a crust. What happens next? The water vapor released from the planets. Interior cooled and condensed to form ocean. So what happens when the water vapor released from the other planets? The interior cooled and condensed to form ocean. Hence, the origin of life can be reconstructed using indirect evidences. Consequently, the biologists have turned to gather disparate bites of information and filling them together like piece of jigsaw puzzles. So each and every scientist they given different opinions as they join together a piece of some puzzles, jigsaw puzzles like that. They given different opinion joined together. They came to one conclusions how this Earth was formed earlier. Many theories have been proposed to explain the origin of life. A few have been discussed in this chapter. So in this chapter, how living organism existed and what are the various steps they have undergone, the changes. That is this topic we are going to deal with this chapter 6. We'll see origin of life, evolutions of life forms here, theory of special creations. Theory of special creations. What do you mean by this one? Special creations. So each and every human being, they belongs to they belongs to different religions. Each one they believe that religion. Okay, that is we say as a special creations. Here the special creation states that life was created by a supernatural power. Underline this supernatural power. Underline this word. So life was created by some kind of supernatural power, which is beyond our human limit. Respectfully referred to as God. Referred to as God. According to Hinduism, and Lord Brahma created earth. According to the Hinduism, they say Lord Brahma only created the earth. And Christianity, Islam, and most religion believe that God created the universe, the plants and animals. So that God as well as that Brahma is the one we call as the special creations. Some kind of power, supernatural power only created this world, planets, animals. The next topic is the one theory of spontaneous generations. Theory of spontaneous generation. Theory. Spontaneous means sudden, or you can say abiogenesis. You can say abiogenesis. A living organism originated from non-living materials and occurred through a stepwise chemical and molecular evolutions over millions of years. So what they say here, the spontaneous generations. The living organisms come from the non-living materials. Okay, through this stepwise by the chemical reactions and molecular evolutions over a million years, not only 1 or 2 years, million years it has taken. From that non-living things only, living organisms existed. That is the theory of spontaneous generations. Here, the Thomas Huxley coined the term abiogenesis. Underline this is one of the important one word. The next one is the one Big Bang theory. So here, this theory explains the origin of universe as a singular huge explosions in physical term. Here the universe exposed, okay, single universe they expose are huge by the physical terms. That is the physical terms is the primitive. Earth had no proper atmosphere. The earth they don't have proper atmosphere. What do you mean by atmosphere? Wherever air is there, that is because of atmosphere. But consisted ammonia, but there was no proper atmosphere. Even though there was no proper atmosphere, but they had ammonia, methane, hydrogen, and water vapor. The climate of the earth was extremely high. UV rays from sun split up water molecules. So in the beginning of the earth, there was two extremely high So due to fall of UV rays which comes from the sun. That UV rays split up water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. You know what are the molecules are present in the water? Hydrogen, oxygen, so are there. Since the earth was extremely high, the UV rays split up the water molecules into two, as we call hydrogen and oxygen. Gradually, the temperature cooled and the water vapor condensed to form a rain. Gradually, step by step, slowly, the temperature cooled and water vapor condensed to form a rain. Since the temperature cooled, what happened? Everything, all the water will be evaporated and they form a clouds and then started to rain. Rain water filled all the depressions to form water bodies. Wherever the lower regions are there, in the lower regions, the rainwater will just go unoccupied or stagnant. That's what they say here. Ammonia and methane in the atmosphere combined with oxygen to form carbon dioxide and other gases. As we have seen in the atmosphere, as you learned, the atmosphere, when there was a proper atmosphere, there was some gas, ammonia, methane. The atmosphere, that ammonia, methane combined with oxygen and form carbon dioxide and other gases. So this is what the information about Big Bang theory. There was a small information bits. What do you mean by core surveys? Here, core surveys means that's a large colloidal particles that precipitate out in aqueous medium. In core surveys, the first three cells which gradually transform into living cells. So the living cells are transformed through these core surveys. They say what do you mean by core survey? That's semi-solid of the water from the aqueous medium. The next theory is the one theory of biogenesis. Theory of biogenesis. Life arose from pre-existing life. That is a concept of theory of biogenesis. Life existed from pre-existing life. The term biogenesis also refers to the biochemical process of productions of living organisms. This term was coined by Henry Bastian. Underline this important one word. This is important one word. So what do they say here? The living organisms existed from pre-existing life forms. That is the theory of biogenesis. So that's what information is about theory of biogenesis. So living organism existed from pre-existing forms. So the term, the biogenesis term was coined by Henry Bastian. Just underline. The next theory is the one chemical evolutions. Primitive organisms in the primordial environmental of the earth evolved spontaneously from inorganic substances as well as physical factors. Here, what do they say in the chemical evolutions? The primitive organisms in the beginning of the earth, there was a few organisms which existed through the from inorganic substances as well as the physical factors like physical factors, physical forces like lightning and UV radiations, volcano activities. So this chemical evolutions, theory of chemical evolutions explained by two scientists named also Oparin and Haldane. This two scientists theory of chemical evolutions we'll see in the next class. Today we are just seeing the theory of biogenesis and also define theory of chemical evolutions also we have seen, and what is core surveys we have seen, and different theories also we have seen. The Big Bang theory is one of the important 2 marks 3 marks can be possible, just go through. And theory of spontaneous generations we have completed, and theory of life creations, special creations we have seen, and also we have seen introduction parts of this chapter 6 evolutions. Just go through today itself. It seems to be easy, but you will get confused if you don't go through today itself. Okay, if you have any doubt you can contact me. Okay, bye, take care.